Quite frankly, if Trump is anti-constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing. Theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazi
Bad,
show? Because you're a little bit more than a far Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this.
Because
you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
Hey, you guys remember Connor, the not from Jubilee? Yeah, he got fired and is flabbergasted by the consequences of his own actions. He took to the internet and said, I need you guys to subsidize my existence for a while because my employer was too woke and I am being a victim of cancel culture.
The audacity and caucasity for you to go full-blown 3K and go on the internet and cry, I have been fired simply because of my traditional values and political views. We know that you probably are afraid of saying, because of me being hateful towards other people. Yeah, he can't admit to that. And then you start a GoFundMe to beg for money, to receive things for free, but you don't support this. Yeah, man, oh man. This is a full-blown F around and find out. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I do appreciate all of you that support me on here. Thank you to my members as well. We have another interesting episode to look at. And, this is a MAGA man that went on Jubilee podcast. And he said what he had to say, full yassism and racism. And he got fired from his job and started a GoFundMe. And crazy. You will see what is happening with his GoFundMe, but we have to look at these clips from the interview. We'll come back and talk about it. Just do me a favor, like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And what do you guys think? Because
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask about deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he
Franco.
come from?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class, could be someone
who picks the autocrat?
Frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
isn't that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that stage.
And then no more votes afterwards?
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills. That's the whole thing.
How do you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt makes
supporters.
this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right?
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn the persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We may have to rename this show because you're a little bit more than a Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
During the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats.
Are you in favor of being people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not.
You mentioned Franco earlier. Franco killed innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who were nuns and killed priests.
What about children and women who killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed women or children. He was Catholic.
He only killed. Is that what you're claiming?
Yeah, he only
never killed any innocent people.
The White Terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting innocent women? Nuns, dude. Kill priests? I mean, priests don't brandish and kill.
Just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think if I'm a Nazi and being a Nazi,
neutral,
and being a Nazi means upholding human dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't, in a state that I was running, I wouldn't want to hurt you or anything like that. But quite frankly,
I don't debate fascists.
Quite frankly, if Trump is anti-constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do, because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
whenever it's in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
so you don't believe in democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
You're a little bit more than a far Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Maybe ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms just suddenly raise all the wages?
Notice
That's
how
what
you
you
didn't answer
believe.
what I said.
That's what you believe.
It was a complete pivot. Your ankles
That's what
all
you
right. You
believe.
pivoted the
That's
hell
what
away
you
from the
believe.
conversation.
Is that what you? Am I
Your
your
ankles
okay? Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage
They will
if
be
we
forced
stop
to.
immigration?
They will be forced to.
great
When you
being
increase
naive.
labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're
This
tightening
is
the
a very
supply of
simplistic
labor.
understanding of economics because you're
Okay,
not,
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs.
About 1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create
Don't
jobs. I
assume
came
that.
into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are
I don't
lazy.
know why you say this.
I never said Americans
yes,
are
you
lazy.
are.
The only person
You're saying
attacking
immigrants
people
have
is
to come
you.
into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do.
I
That's
never said
exactly
those
what you
words.
said.
When did I say?
Oh, really?
When did I say it? We're
So
on
why do we-
YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words
You
that
said-
came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring in
assumptions,
immigrants?
my friend?
Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're gonna have to go.
Nice talking to you. You're going to have to go, bro, is what he said as I left to an American citizen. And he turned to me and he said, that was not a TV recording. That felt more like a low-key KK rally. And I think this is the thing now. This is the masks off, hoods on moment that we're living through right now, where a lot of these people thought this stuff 10 years, 15 years ago, but they wouldn't have had the guts to come on YouTube and say it. They wouldn't have the guts to, this guy's lost his job and he's surprised by it, but many of the rest of them are not going to lose their jobs, right? Okay,
And he's going to do fine. He's going to raise money.
He's going to do fine. But the rest of them who said crazy, there was a white genocide guy. There was a great replacement guy. It was all the hits. It was all the far right hits. And, you and I follow this stuff closely so we can identify it from far right. Like for me, the minute he said, I'm being replaced, I understood. All right, replaced. Tick. Okay. These are not ordinary people just expressing legitimate concern about the wages brought down by migrant labor from South America. These are people who are ideologically committed, as you say, to Stephen Millerism, to Carl Schmitt, to Great Replacement, to General Franco. I mean, I've debated and talked with a lot of far right freaks over the years, but that's the first time I've had it in the live in the field example of we need a General Franco. I talked about Gaza on that show, right? That was the one area where people didn't really want to come up to the table. They don't want to debate me because they don't agree with Trump's support for Israel,
And
they don't
some
agree
of
with
them
Trump's
hate
support.
Jews.
Well, that's what I'm coming to. They don't agree with Trump's support for Israel, not because they're pro-Palestinian or pro-international law. It's because they're anti-Semites. I can't say what some of the comments were made off camera, but blatant anti-Semitic.
This guy from Jubilee that you guys saw the other night just went from fasci to socialist, and all it took was for him to get fired from his job. He put this statement up with a fundraiser saying, "My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and for other expenses while I look for a new job. To clarify, I was terminated from my position for holding fully legal, traditional right-wing political views. This is cancel culture and political discrimination on full display. I just went on the Rift where I shared my story of what happened. You can watch it here." Despite the fact that the White House will probably have a job ready for him by tomorrow, and he'll probably be invited to speak at CPAC next year, this guy has had the NAZI friends of his open up their wallets and donate to his socialist handout program to a tune of $11,790. This is why I don't believe in platforming people like this. This right here. Okay? Because even though he got fired from his job, people like this get much bigger opportunities these days.
So on this episode of Racism is Expensive. So we all have seen the videos where Mehdi Hasan, so we remember Mehdi Hasan, who used to be on MSNBC, lost his job earlier this year, all of that. So he did this thing where he debates conservatives. So he had like 20 of them, he's in a circle, and they're all debating him. So there's this one guy, Connor, who sat there and said, he's a fascist. He's a racist. He doesn't care, and quite frankly, he said that about 30 times in the space of like 3 minutes. Anyway, he said he didn't care. He didn't care if anybody knew he was a fascist. He didn't. It is what it is. So why did he get fired and now he out here begging for money? I feel like if you're going to say that with your whole chest, why you need a send me money fund? Connor. See, it's these people. They always get up there with this braggadocious energy. And then when they get called to the table for the words they speak, then they all want to be like, oh, poor me, woe is me. Then they want to play the victim. It's like literally the MAGA playbook. Literally the MAGA playbook. Anywho, I wish him well because now the entire world, internet, everybody know he's a fascist. So I suspect he's going to have to find other fascists that will hire him. So we want to wish him good luck in his job search. Okay, goodbye.
Hey, you guys remember Connor, the Nazi from Jubilee? Yeah, he got fired and is flabbergasted by the consequences of his own actions. He took to the internet and said, I need you guys to subsidize my existence for a while because my employer was too woke and I am being a victim of cancel culture. Point number one, if the worst thing that happens to you for actually stating in public that you are a Nazi, you lose your job, you got off exceedingly light. Number two, this is a trend amongst conservative influencers where they show up and they beg for money after they have lost their jobs. They do something stupid and hateful, they face consequences, and then they come on here and beg for the handouts that they constantly accuse progressives of seeking. And finally, can we please stop platforming Jubilee at all? Like, I understand the shock value of it. I understand that there's some catchiness to watching a progressive try to bat off 20 Nazis at the same time. But all it does is further platform these far-right hateful ideologies. Stop watching it. Stop platforming it. Stop participating in it.
Great news, guys. Connor's a socialist now. Mr. Proud Fascist is crowdfunding. He claims he was fired for his political beliefs. I don't believe for 1 second this man was even fucking employed to begin with. He is a grifter. Here's his stupid little reason. My name's Connor. I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. Unfortunately, to be honest, to be frank, what was it? We kept saying, frankly, to be frank. I'm raising money as an emergency fund, and for other expenses while I look for a new job. You live in your mother's basement and we all know it. Unfortunately, voicing fully legal, traditional right-wing political views. Traditionally right-wing? Are you saying that the right is fundamentally fascist? Blah, blah, blah. So here's how we know he's a grifter. Because now he's pushing some other appearances. I'll be on this and I'll be on this. And then he doesn't want anyone else to make any money off of his grift. So just so you know, guys, just so you know, this is the only official one. I find the donations to be really weird too. Never back down, never give up. Don't back down in your beliefs. We need to stick together. No more of this individual liberty. They can't stop what's coming. Friends helping friends, best of luck. Socialism. Imagine if everyone could just get some help. Love you, man. It was because of you that I became a groiper in the first place. And I'm like, what the fuck's a groiper? Groypers, sometimes called the Groyper Army, are a group of alt-right and white nationalist activists led by Nick Fuentes. And I think I figured out what his little internet name is, Pine Sap. He referred to his, I think he thinks he's famous on the internet or something, or in streamers world. Pine Sap. Stay strong, Pine Sap. Thank you for all that you do. You've always treated me well and I will never forget. I appreciate all of the great work you have done for AF. And for the church, I'll be praying for you every day. The things that these people do in the name of the church is so fucking bizarre to me. They've essentially made it illegal to be against the gay lib social order. $1 equals 1 Indian hit by a train. Donate to reduce global odor. This is these people. This is who they are. This guy gives $25 just to tell him to get in shape. You can't represent our ideas and be fat. 41 likes on that. Another fucking Christ is king, keep your head up. Is this Christ-like behavior to you people? Get a grip. And he's raised $25,000 in 24 hours to live in his mommy's basement. I want to see pay stubs. I want to see the proof that he was even fucking employed to begin with. Not a chance.
You guys know what happened to that guy, Connor, the neo-Nazi, hate-loving racist that was on Jubilee, talking and spewing all that hate. Well, let me tell you something. Connor, he found out. He found out that the First Amendment doesn't protect you from the consequences of being a hateful knowledgeist in the workplace or our society. Freedom of speech means the government can't jail you from your vile opinions, but it damn sure doesn't mean that your boss or your school, your platform or public has to tolerate your sick ideology. If you spew Nazi trash, don't cry when you're fired or canceled or dragged into public, Connor. Let's be crystal clear. Nazism isn't just another political opinion. It's the glorification of genocide, the dehumanization of the entire race, and the celebration of one of the most evil regimes in human history. Supporting that is not only edgy, it's disgusting. It's the equivalent of walking into a room full of decent people and proudly declaring you're cool with this mass racism and this white supremacy. That's not freedom of speech. It's a ticket to being shut out, and rightfully so. Most people in this country, left, right, or in the center, do not want to work beside someone who's fantasizing about racial purity or glorifies a regime that hurt 6 million Jews and millions of others. The vast majority of Americans believe in basic human decency, equality, and respect. Nazism is a polar opposite of that, and anyone stupid enough to align with that is socially radioactive. So yeah, Connor, you got fired, and then you should be glad that's the only thing that happened. Because when you walk around spewing hate, praising Nazis, and treating people like subhuman, society will push back. Losing a job is the mild outcome compared to the pain caused by the very ideology that you're trying to resurrect. There's no upside to spreading hate, Connor. No financial gain, no moral high ground, no historical justification, only disgrace, isolation, and a legacy of shame. If you're dumb enough to walk in 2025 waving a swastika flag, don't be shocked when the doors slam in your face, Connor. Truth has no party. Be well.
You guys have seen this dude around, and you probably heard that he got fired immediately after this. And he did start a GoFundMe, and he raised around $20,000. And that is unfortunate, but that doesn't really impress me or surprise me at all. You know how easy it is to take money from Trump supporters? They're out here buying meme coins and Trump baseball cards. It's like taking candy from a baby. But if I can give you guys an optimistic take here, watching this brings me great joy. Because one day, Trump will be gone. And the people who aim to replace him will be a bunch of Christian fascist dorks. People like J.D. Vance, Mike Johnson, Lindsey Graham. Dorks who want to replace the president with a pope and the Constitution with the Ten Commandments. But guys, it's not going to happen. Okay, these people are as ridiculous as they are unlikable. And I gotta say, it brought me great joy to watch Mehdi Hasan, who's one of my favorite journalists. I've never seen this guy lose an argument. It brought me so much joy watching him tear apart each and every one of these conservatives. And personally, it gives me faith, because I believe that these guys will never get the government that they want. And I think when Trump is gone, the country will swing back to the left. We are not going to become the next Vatican. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Love you. Talk soon.
It is time for Found and Find Out Connor edition. See, back in the day, like 8 months ago, we used to have these things called the Equal Employment Opportunity Act, and there were all sorts of employment labor protections in place to end workplace discrimination. One of those things being like race or religion, political. Like there was all these things that you couldn't be fired for, and that all went away with Trump. He took all that away. So Connor, you lost your job because of your political views and your religious views and things like that. And the thing that would have protected you, he took away. Your dictator, he took that away. And if he hadn't taken that away, you would have been able to sue your employer for outright discrimination. So that's what it is to be an American, right? We're all allowed to think whatever we want. When we go to an autocracy, when we go to this dictatorship that you adore, this fascism that you adore so much, people who don't align with everybody else's thinking, well, they're penalized. That's what happened to you. That's what happened to you. In a democracy, we're all allowed to think the way we want to think without having other people force shit down our throat. Simple, really.
This man went on to Jubilee, exposed how racist he was, got fired from his job. Now he's made a GoFundMe where he's raised thousands of dollars in a few hours. This is why you do not give these people f***ing platforms. You didn't change anybody's mind. You just normalized his behavior.
This guy Connor goes on this show called Jubilee that is aired on YouTube and proudly proclaims that he's a fascist and he does not care that people call him a Nazi. And the guy asked him, so what, are you a fascist? He said, yeah, ho, 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 ho. And matter of fact, not only was he laughing, it was people in the audience that were clapping and laughing with him. And the person that he was debating said, you are fully aware that millions of people are going to see that you just proclaimed yourself as a fascist, right? And he said, yeah, he didn't care. First of all, let's talk about how being a fascist is illegal. But let's also talk about how it's rooted in control and hate and in racism. But y'all don't care nothing about that because y'all wear that badge proudly now. So now because he ran his mouth on this huge platform, he is now fired from his company as an engineer. But here's the kicker. Now he gets on GoFundMe begging for money because he said that he got fired for his political beliefs. Every one thing they're going to do is try to play victim. Do you hear me? In true racist fashion, he is now at $25,000 raised on GoFundMe. And honestly, I want to go on there and be nosy to see who publicly donated and put their name or who was some suckers and donated anonymously.
Well, apparently, he's now a socialist. He got fired from his job, and the first thing he did was go online and create a GoFundMe account to raise money for being fired for his political ideas, in which he writes, "Fired for my political beliefs. My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and other expenses while I look for a new job. Unfortunately, voicing fully legal traditional right-wing political views results in real consequences."
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
This is where you found out, Connor. You went on TV. You went on a YouTube channel that garners millions of views, and you said that you do not care about being called a Nazi and that you are a fascist. So with those actions, consequences are met. The worst thing about platforming people like this is that you see how many other people in this country really believe or share their sentiments. This goes back to that lady that called a 5-year-old black boy in the playground the N-word, and she received over $100,000. This man has received $26,545, well over his intended goal, which means that these right-wing Christian conservative evangelical racist fascist Nazis want this sentiment to be shared and agree with this sentiment. Jubilee needs to be boycotted, like I said yesterday. Boycott Jubilee. Boycott it.
There are quite a number of things that have been normalized that really don't need to be given platform. I see a lot of them, and it breaks my heart that we are living in this world that literally allows such stuff to even be displayed, like things that have been normalized, and you know for sure this should not be normalized. I don't even have to mention any of those things because you see them every day and you know them, right? But that includes fascism and racism and bigotry and people that are going full-blown 3K, people that are so bold to air out how they feel about other people. And these are things that back then people used to be ashamed. People would shame you for saying these things. Not anymore. Not anymore. That's exactly what happened on this podcast, where these, proud right-wingers felt the need to actually say all that they had to say. And when one of them got fired, he's like, America is becoming too woke. And he's now literally leaning more towards the socialism and receiving things for free and begging. And for me, it breaks my heart because you'll remember that lady that called a 5-year-old the N-word, right? She raised almost close to 900K. I mean, close to $1 million, to be honest. And she was able to actually use that money. From what she said she was able to use that money. I don't know. I don't really know if she was able, because it really caused a lot of controversy. Yeah. But even this one, people are ignoring the fact that this man is literally being hateful. He told the guy that was debating him, go, like, we don't want you here. You're here saying that Americans are lazy. And the guy didn't even mention that anywhere, right? But I think at the core, you see a lot of people that are bitter, that are not fulfilled in life. Then they resort to blaming immigrants, that they are the problem, that they are the reason as to why they are in this situation. At the core of the right-wingers or the fascist people like this, or this whole entire movement, is poor, palm-colored people that are convinced everybody else is ruining it for you. So you have to fight them so that you gain what you have. But then we are looking at so many fruits in farms drying. We are seeing a lot of farms collapsing. We are seeing a lot of systems breaking down and closing, right? Because immigrants are gone. So you say that immigrants are taking your jobs, immigrants are taxing on your resources, but these people also pay taxes. They work hard, yeah? They work hard for everything they have. They don't get it from the government freely. Probably when they have just come, they get some free things, but then later on, these people really have to work hard because the benefits that are given to them by the government can't take care of them in today's America, right? They cannot be taken care of by simply the government assistance, right? And then they are also able to send the same assistance back home, yeah? I don't know. But again, at the core is just a group of palm-colored people that are poor, that are miserable, that are bitter. So for them to feel better about themselves, they want everybody gone. Let's not forget, a lot of the immigrants are out producing them. And they're afraid of that, yeah? But then they are also forgetful of what they did to, to the rest of humanity, honestly. To the rest of humanity. Made sure they wanted to erase everybody, right? Because At the back of the right wingers like this, they want to exist in a world where them alone exist. And if there's anybody else that needs to exist in that world, they have to assimilate to their values. But to values like what? Values like some of the things that these people are spewing. And they even have the nerves and audacity to believe that they are the special and the autocracy and the supreme leaders won't do anything to them, because I don't know who they think they are. Because as soon as they are done helping the supreme leaders and the rich palm-colored people to obtain their goals, they are going to be kicked. I mean, yeah, they are going to be kicked down. They are going to go back to servitude and serve these palm-colored, people. Their own people will take them into servitude. They don't mind doing that, right? So it is so crazy that, they say all these things, and I think the whole world is gonna cave in simply because the person that is in power allows that. To be honest, he's made racists be even more bolder. For them to get on a public platform like that and they are not afraid, trust me, it's because they have a backup plan. They have a backup plan of people that are going to always go and put money on their GoFundMe. But they don't find any problem with some of their speeches. They call it values, and these are values and beliefs of the right wingers. These are traditional beliefs. Are you kidding me? They have a problem with their kids being a target and their women, and because again they regurgitate the talking points of white supremacy, because that's what their man tells them, that these people are the ones that are doing this to your kids, these people are the ones that are doing this to your women. But meanwhile, he's hiding the Epstein files because he knows he's part of it. Meanwhile, if we look at the list of people that do stuff, grab, do all this stuff, right? It's middle-aged and older palm-colored men. They are the problem. But they blame everybody else for why their country is sinking. Their country is sinking because they are hateful. They are hateful not just to the immigrants in that country, but to everybody else around the world. And they have no problem showing that. The law now is very protective of these people. They go in the streets and protest and raise the flags and all the Confederate flags, and they're okay. Nobody says anything about them, right? Because they are airing out traditional values. They want the best for America. But the America they want the best for, they didn't even build it. It is other people that have built it. America is a nation of immigrants. From the very beginning of it, it is a nation of immigrants. So, and now he's fuffling, he's effing around, and he's finding out the people are not going to tolerate that nonsense, that you can definitely speak, but we cannot guarantee the consequences of the things that happen after you speak. Hopefully nobody employs him. But from the look of things, as soon as they come out and they are loud and bold and proud to be fascist, they are quick to spot and put in government. What a sad generation Americans are living in. Anyways, you guys are going to let me know what you think, but this FAFO, I think I had to bring it out here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. I think from me for today, that's it. I'll see you in another amazing video. Until then, I want you to stay safe, protected, and hydrated, and God bless you.